Okay, hello, welcome. Thank you, Andrew, for being with us. This is Andrew, who went on the Argentina Public Health Program.
Hello.
Great, thanks. And can you tell us about your program experience?
Sure. So I had a really awesome experience in Buenos Aires. Buenos Aires is a really, really fun city. There's always kind of a lot of activity and lots of different parts of Buenos Aires that are really cool to explore and kind of adventure into, try different kinds of foods, explore the different neighborhoods that there are. The program itself was really, really well run, had some awesome academic directors, and some of the other staff who are just really engaged with the program have done either work in the program material or are doing kind of research or some of their studies in it right now. So definitely really engaged, know a lot of contacts in the city, and have a lot of really cool professors who work with them throughout the course of the program, both to teach some of the classes and then support the students in their independent study projects. So some really great people who are involved in running everything. The homestay coordinator is great. We get to meet her pretty early on in the program and does a lot of work to find really quality homestay families. And I know pretty much across the board that people had great homestay families who are really enthusiastic about them being there, which going from kind of a college environment where you're surrounded by a lot of friends or from a home environment where your family is really supportive to a totally different country on the other side of the world can be really daunting. And having a host family there who is kind of the Argentine mother who just wants to smother you and be on top of you all the time is a transition, but makes it really nice to be able to adjust to the culture, adjust to some of the experiences while you're having.
Great. And tell us about your ISP, your Independent Study Project.
Sure. So my independent study project was focused on addiction rehabilitation programs in Buenos Aires. And the initial inspiration for that came from some work that I had done before coming to Buenos Aires on the program. And then as we got to the kind of public health classes and things, that there were a lot of different topics that we touched on. And so I would say the majority of the students found their project either theme or kind of their focus area during some of the classes. And so it's kind of always on your mind that there's that independent study project looming at the end, which can be a little bit daunting, and arriving and going like, oh, I don't know what exactly I'm going to be doing, but it really kind of falls into place as everything goes. And so we actually had an interview when one of the days, our kind of afternoon was dedicated to interviewing different professionals. And so we had a lady come in who does work and research really in addiction treatment programs. And so I talked to her. It was super, super nice and was a really fun to talk to, had a lot of information about it, and kind of got me started thinking about it, that initial conversation with her. And so my project was interviewing other professionals who work in addiction rehabilitation programs and talking to them about their perceptions of changes in those treatment programs in the last 5 to 10 years. And kind of incorporating a bunch of different themes, that there's been a lot of laws that have changed within those years that have dramatically affected the public health programs, specifically related to addiction. And so being able to kind of incorporate the political side of things, but also more of the policies and things that the government is instituting in relation to these things. So it was really cool. I got to interview a variety of professionals. So in programs that were more residence programs, and then some that worked as more community centers. And so each of them had a little bit of a different perspective. And then for the fall semester, we have November essentially to interview the professionals and compile that information and present the project. And I never would have thought that 45 pages is actually the longest paper that I've ever written at all. And to write it in another language was really daunting to start off with. And it kind of pieces itself together over the course of that month and even over the course of the semester before that. And 45 pages sounds intimidating, but it all comes together pretty easily.
Wow. And do you think you'll use this research or what you've learned on the program in your life or in your school?
Sure. So my school is actually a little bit more focused on the science side of things, more the basic sciences. So I'm a neuroscience major. And one of the interesting parts about it was how that I'll be able to incorporate the public health work that we were doing into either some of the neuroscience or afterwards going into medical school. And I think one of the things that the program really taught me that I really enjoyed about the program was how some of these problems that often are focused on as individual issues or focused on the individual level often have either societal foundations to them or are influenced heavily by the environment that people are in. And so kind of thinking how as a single unit in that, as either a physician or as a student, as a neuroscience researcher, that there is a way to impact society and that there's a way to influence the way that individuals are working within that, that a bigger picture or a bigger kind of understanding of the problem is going to help work on an individual level and on a societal level.
And did you notice any changes in yourself during the program? Do you feel like, what did you get out of it personally?
Yeah, I think that it's a very big step to say 4 months is a really long time to be in a totally new place. And we kind of do it in college. Once, say, your freshman year is kind of a big growth period. And to go and have that time period in another country with another language with totally new students, I only knew one student going into it. So kind of doing all of that all at one time is very challenging. And I think one of the things that was really exciting for me to learn about myself is that like responding to those challenges or that I feel that I was able to grow and respond to those challenges really positively. And so like being able to handle those challenges and kind of grow and adapt and enjoy the experience and really dig into it and adventure and meet other people, meet new Argentines, that like it's a very, very much of a confidence builder for being able to come back and say like, okay, well, like not only was I able to do this, but like all of these other challenges that are coming forward over the next year and a half while I finish college, like I can do those too if I can do that one. And so that definitely was good. I think that living in another country makes you really kind of question the way that like some of the ingrained cultural practices that you have, whether those are like how I interact with other people and how I enter a room and start talking to other people, or when I like get together with my friends, that like there are lots of little things that are a little existential that you start thinking about, but that I think have made me a lot more intentional of a person, of the like connecting with people. That Latin America is very known, I think, for like kind of being like very wholehearted when they talk to people, and that they're very passionate people. And so that some of that intentionality and just like the enjoyment of being around other people and really connecting to them personally, I think was something that I hope like will continue as I come back.
Excellent. And what do you think makes SIT unique?
I think that SIT is a very hands-on program. I actually knew a couple of other students who were in Argentina and Buenos Aires at the same time. And I think talking to them about their program, that one of the things that I really liked about SIT was how interactive it was with the course material. And so some of that is with the independent study project that you have the opportunity to interview and really work with some of the professionals who are engaged in the material. But even in the classes leading up to that, that there was the opportunity to go into some of the clinics, to talk to some of the politicians or the program coordinators for some of the initiatives, like with gender violence or with women's rights or with reproductive, like some of the reproductive programs. And so kind of like being able to really talk to some of those people as opposed to just reading about some of the statistics or talking about how those policies are affecting people, but seeing the communities that those are affecting was really, really great. And I think that I thought that going in, and that was even more affirmed as I came out of the program, and how that those programs are really like integrated into the community, and that some of that is that the staff is that way, that they are really integrated into the work and are excited for students to enter the world that they have spent a lot of time investing in themselves.
Excellent, great. Is there anything else you'd like to add for a student that's thinking about the program but not really sure?
Sure. I guess a lot of students are really worried about the Spanish coming into a program, and the language requirements are that you don't have to speak fluently to be able to come, but so I know a lot of students kind of spend those first couple of days leading up to the program really worried about how their Spanish is going to be. And I think that was one of the things that really surprised me coming in, is that they're not throwing you to the wolves from the very first day, but the staff are very familiar with working with students who are at a variety of Spanish levels, and so are both comfortable working with you and understanding about the course material and about the professors that they bring in, who have also kind of been prepped, if you want to say, for working with students who do not speak Spanish as their first language. And so that was something that kind of every student going into a foreign country stresses about, and something that I think that the program worked with really, really well from the very beginning.
Excellent, great. This was super informative. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks so much for taking the time, and it was great talking with you.
Yeah, great to talk to you too.